Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the FPL Affairs podcast, a podcast that strips back and lays bare our season-long love affair with FPL. This long overdue video, it's been a while for one reason or another work-wise. Our Gameweek 22 Unwrapped video, Weasel and myself review our weekend teams. Did Dove manage to break into the top 1k? Did Weasel activate his wildcard? And did my wildcard 21 team see green rather than the grey arrow it got last week? Anyway, before we get started, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for all of our content, and ring that bell to be notified each time we release something new. Anyway, enough of my small talk, let's get cracking.
And there's Mo Salah. There goes Haaland. He's on his way again. He's hungry. He scored. Ice cold precision from Palmer. Kayo Saka. That is a diamond of a goal.
Greetings, everybody, to the much awaited latest episode of the FPL Affairs podcast with me, Matt, aka the FPL Affairs Magpie, and joining me this evening for our Gameweek 22 Unwrapped review is Paul, aka the FPL Affairs Weasel. How are you, sir? I think it's the first time this year, actually.
Yeah, I think it was before Christmas, the last one, wasn't it? It's been ages. Missed
Yeah, it
doing
was
them.
a kind of a mixture of crazy up and down, not knowing what time of day it is and what day of the week it is over Christmas and New Year. And yeah, then it's been busy and an emotional roller coaster since then. So for one reason or another, and busy at work, it's been tricky to pin anyone down, not literally, um, for a recording, and that's myself included. Because after the, I think, Game Week 20 review with Mohammed, we had a lengthy section on mental health and stuff, and I was not in a good place after an awful week, which subsequently resulted in me wildcarding in Game Week 21. Um, Mainly, primarily, there were several that I didn't like. I ended up overhauling 11 players, and then last minute before the Game Week 21 deadline, I put two of the players I took out back in, but then it meant team value wise, I hadn't gained so much. But then to be fair, I think I got them back at what I sold them for. So I guess it didn't necessarily make a difference. Anyway, I don't think their prices changed whilst I'd sold them at the beginning of the wildcard week. And anyway, that was me, the Game Week 21. And I think I did work out, instead of, if I'd kept the team, I would have ended up taking a -4 hit. And actually, I think I worked out I would have been about 15 points worse off than my wildcard, even though my wildcard, I was 1 point down on my safety score, which wasn't great. It was at least 15 points better than the side I'd got rid of. So that was a positive. And I also worked out, rightly or wrongly, what that team would have got this week. And I'm not sure if I would have made the free transfer in the end. But I benched the players I would have benched if I'd rolled. And the likes of Tarkovsky, I think I did. He was a question mark whether I would have played him or not. I think I probably would have done based on the other defenders I had. But even so, I would have been.
In the sleep.
But either way, I would have been worse off this week. So my kind of wild card in the 2 game weeks, I think I'm about 25 points better off, I think. So
You made the right call.
yeah. And it just means I'm going to have to be, because normally I wild card significantly later than this. Significantly later than this. I just had a paranoia moment that it wasn't recorded. Yeah, normally once all the info and stuff about double game weeks and so forth is out, we know more. That's when I work out a more detailed chip strategy. But this season, I was just too, after a diabolical game week, I was just too not set about it. And I think I would have probably ended up taking an extra couple of hits on the subsequent weeks, which I set the wild card up long term. We'll look at it in a moment, with the view that if I'm strict with myself, I'll get a few rolls so that with being able to roll up to 5 transfers, once there's more info about the doubles and so forth, I'll have several transfers in the bank that I'd be able to do some sort of a mini wild card. I just need to make sure I'm strict with myself and I don't do like one or two tinkering every week. But that is
Uh,
that. So game week 23, what did you
22 this
do?
week. It's
What
week
did you
22
do
this
without
week.
spoiling your team?
Yeah. Our wildcards this week, but when at week 22, or am I a week out?
We have just completed 22, haven't we?
Yeah, it's 22.
Yeah. Yeah, I wildcarded in 21
Uh-huh.
and now you've wildcarded in 22. So
Yeah.
we're
As I
there.
said, I was thinking about wildcards in 21, but I didn't go ahead with it. And then I was sort of forced into doing it with injuries and
Mm,
suspensions.
mm. Right.
So,
Well, sadly, Mohammed is not with us this evening or this morning, um, from his local time. But bearing in mind how well he's doing and the run of greens he's got, we will have a quick, emphasis, quick glance at his team. So let's take a peek at that first. Right. So I kind of felt it was quite apt, bearing in mind um, most content creators and so on have got Foden or Bruno Fernandez and um, as thumbnails. I just thought I'm going to do something different. As bearing in mind, I wildcarded last week, you wildcarded this week. Um, People generally in the admin group have got different goalkeepers, and those people that are going to be thinking about wildcarding soon will be needed to keep an eye on goalkeepers. So I went a bit different with Jordan Pickford after his double digit. Sanchez of Chelsea after his clean sheet and double digit with 6 save points, and Raya who got a clean sheet. But I think difference is really between is Sanchez made 6 saves, Pickford made several saves as he usually does, and I think Raya made a couple, but he got six, which was not really much more than half the total that the others got, which I think really emphasizes why a lot of people are not including or won't include Raya in their Arsenal triple up. I didn't. I took him out and I brought in Roofs instead, I think, on wild card when I did it. That's what I was going to do had I not wildcarded. I'd done him and Gabriel in for Raya and Senesi, but then I ended up wildcarding anyway, and which meant I could afford Sanchez. So happy days in the end for that, especially after this week. So that's me. We'll go on to Mohammed's briefly. Okay, so reading out his team, he got Kelleher with just the solitary single point. Back three of Gabriel, 8 points with that delayed second bonus, which went through on Sunday, even though the game was Saturday. Anderson of Fulham, 2 points. Didn't get Defcon this week. That's got to be the first in some time.
yeah, I
Um,
can't remember last time he didn't get Defcon.
Mukiele's with an assist, Defcon, but a booking, which most probably hindered his um,
Bonus
bonus
points.
bonus points chances. Saka's 1 point appearance off the bench. Wilson's 2 points with a yellow card and late loss of the clean sheet point. Semenyo blanking with 2 points. Enzo's assist and clean sheet for six. And a blanking front three of Watkins, Thiago, and Haaland, who he captained. On the bench, he had Dubravka's 8 saves, which gave him 5 points. Cherky's 1 pointer, Dallow's 5 points, and last on his bench, he put Mark Gahey, who now is Mohammed's third, no, fourth City asset. Haaland, Semenyo, Gahey, and Cherky after Gahey was confirmed as a Man City player today, and that has gone through and is evident on the FPL site as well now. So, what are your thoughts on his differential-ish team for this week or
Yeah,
last
he
week?
made the right calls and that. I don't think Cherky was ever going to start this game. And Dalot, you wouldn't play against Man City.
I
That
remember
would
what
take everyone wrong.
I remember his second transfer that went through a minute before the deadline. Actually, it was Cunha to Semenyo.
Ouch. Yeah, obviously lost
Yeah,
2 points there.
yeah.
I
Um,
think everyone did that move, I think. It was a pretty standard move this week.
mm,
But yeah, he
which
did another inspired transfer to do Lewis Potter to Makalele.
Yeah, that
Uh,
went at least well.
yeah,
So that gave him new way of showing the tables, actually, judging by the live FPL app. So I've put it on differently to make it stand out a bit more. His rank, unfortunately, after taking a hit, which most definitely didn't work out, he dropped from 1.255k, so 1,254 down to 2,525. So basically doubled his rank, which was unfortunate, but still doing well. But it was a painful 11 point red arrow.
yeah. If he hadn't done that Cunha transfer, he probably would have stayed the Green
Well,
Arrow.
he would have saved the 4 point hit.
Mm-hmm.
And can you get 4 points or 5 points?
He got four, I think.
So he would have then
So
got
he's a
an
sub
extra
and got an
two
assist.
because of that 2 point difference over Semenyo. So he would have been 6 points better off.
Uh-huh.
Um, so finished with 38 and bagged 38.
His safety score is 43, so he's one short still. So it still would
Mm,
have been a red arrow.
yeah, red arrow just not as much.
Uh-huh.
So that was his. We'll move on to, I've got mine down as next. And I think my formation is possibly changing again. Because before wildcard I was playing 3-4-3 most weeks. Um, Part of that was down to injuries and force, but I just didn't want to stay 3-4-3, so I wildcarded to go with a 3-5-2, selecting Sanchez as my main goalkeeper, Dubravka on the bench, my back five, Chow, double Arsenal, Timber Gabriel, Alderete as my cheap defender, and Tarkowski of Everton. Five midfielders, Foden, Rice, Bruno Guimaraes, Enzo Fernandez, and Morgan Rogers, with a front three of Haaland, Thiago, and Mane of Wolves, because I think when I put him in, and this is the funny bit, when I put Mane in and Alderete, I was just short on doing Mukiele instead of Alderete, and I was point 0.1 short of doing Krupi Jr. instead of Mane. So I ended up having to cut down on those, and then I can't remember what another belated couple of moves I did that resulted in me having 1.5 million in the bank and didn't realize at the time when I did it, oh, I've created money so I could upgrade Alderete and Mane slightly. But I didn't. But at least positives, it means I've now got 1.5 million in the bank, so I've got a bit more freedom of movement and don't have to rush early on transfers to catch players' prices and so on. So that was my wild card. Reading through the 11 that I started this week, 11 pointer from Sanchez in goal, so three bonus, six saves, clean sheet. Back three of Chiao, clean sheet, a maximum bonus. Timber and Gabriel, with their 5 points and 8 points respectively. Midfield five. Foden getting the 1 point after being subbed at half time. Blanks but clean sheets for Rice and Bruno. Guimaraes, the assist from Enzo in clean sheet, giving him 6 points. Rogers with a disappointing two after he had several opportunities and chances to score, which annoying Sunderland player, Pickford, not player, fan, Pickford making some cracking saves, to be fair. And then blanking front two of Thiago and Haaland. On the bench, I therefore had lowly owned Dubravka, 5 points, Alderete, 1 point, Mane, 2, and Tarkowski, 8. Um, I was always rolling. my transfer this week after wildcarding, and I think I just had last minute jitters on who to bench and in what order. Um, but actually, to be honest, Tarkowski was away to Villa. He wasn't really in my thoughts on playing. It would have been Alderete as a fourth defender and bench Thiago and do a 4-5-1. Um, the alternative being playing Mane instead of Thiago, instead of Rodgers, not Rodgers. Um, yeah, either way, the substitutions I made, I paid off. Because yes, actually, it was because Mohammed persuaded me to play Chiao rather than Mane. Um, he said, "Have confidence in Newcastle, Matthew." Um, me thinking we were going to concede, and yet we didn't. And Chiao gets maximum bonus. So thank you, Mohammed, for that. Okay, what are your thoughts then? Did I make well? I made the right call, but
No, yes, great rate. Was you not tempted to get Bruno F for Foden this week?
um, going into the weekend, no. Not for Man City and Arsenal. And it has crossed my mind about Bruno for Foden in advance of 23, but we'll discuss that later. So how that impacted my rank after it rolling, um, gave me 54 points, which was a 14-point green arrow, rising me up from 1.88 million to 1.44 million. So bit of a cozy jump-ish. Game week rank of 1.1 million, which actually before the 1-1 Brighton Bournemouth draw, which I was happy with how that went. I was actually like my game week rank was 545,000. So that basically doubled just from that one fixture, but it didn't affect my rank too much. It was just a 20,000 places drop, I think. Um, but either way, it recovers some of the horrible red arrow of about 20 points 2 weeks ago. So on the second road to recovery.
Is that your highest rank now of the season?
This,
Yeah. Have
no,
you been here?
in after game week 20, I was 2 points off the top million after game week 20. So I was 1.1 maybe or 1.0 something. Um, really close to the top million, and I was thinking that game week 21 I'd get into it. But then I had a horrendous red arrow, um, which dropped me like 700,000 places,
Yeah, story of our seasons.
which was painful. So yeah, that's where I'm at after this week. Let's bring up yours. Talk us through your wildcard, please.
Okay. Right, so I stupidly went for Donnarumma in goal. He got 2 points after having Sanchez all in my team right until Saturday morning. And then after his midweek show and against Arsenal in the cup, and I just couldn't trust Sanchez, and I wondered whether he might be dropped for Georgeson. And of course, he plays and has a blinder.
It's a cup
So,
competition. That's performance in cup competitions are irrelevant.
but yeah, it's typical. Every keeper I was considering holds, and the one I actually got blanked. Obviously, I thought about doing triple Arsenal defence or getting
Serious.
Pickford because I've had no. There's just a differential, and obviously I was considering Sanchez and so of them. There was three keepers on your thumbnail, wasn't it? I had them all in mind, and I went for Donnarumma because on paper he had the two easiest fixtures this for the next 2 weeks. So I think that's going to be a future transfer after Wolves game. I probably will go to Sanchez. Uh,
Okay. Mind you, though,
I
with
discussed it.
Mark Gahey coming in, solidify the defence a bit.
True. So there's something to think about, and that
Mm.
was the next few weeks. Right, in my defence, I went for a back three. I had Van de Ven, who did have 2 points, but I had them wiped out last night. No,
Yeah,
he
I
had
think I
two
worked out that
Defcons.
his DEFCON tally must have got adjusted. So
Yeah, he was on
because he
10
finished
and he
with
went down to
9.
9. Yep. So that wasn't very nice to see when I looked at my phone this morning. Saliba was absolute star, got 8 points. Now, which I'm really happy because obviously a lot of people went for Timber, but I went for Saliba because he was 0.4 million cheaper, and he used to always be one of my first picks for FPL.
Yeah,
So
I
with this
remember
wild card,
maybe last year or a year before, it was all about if people doubled up on Arsenal defence, it was generally Gabriel and Saliba or Saliba and Raya.
uh so
But
yeah, I'm glad
anyway,
that I
so
chose
that was your
him.
back three.
Yeah, and Gabriel obviously got 8 points. In my midfield four, went for Bruno G, got 3 points. Bruno F as a star, got 10 points, which you weren't expecting against Man City. Enzo was a part of my late transfer that I did on Saturday morning. I originally had Rice, but I was worried that Rice might be dropped. But obviously he played and Saka was dropped. So that freed up the money for me to go from Sanchez up to Donnarumma. So I only actually lost out 6 points on what my original team would have been if I had done Sanchez and Rice instead of Enzo and
Mm,
Donnarumma. But I was never considering Enzo and Sanchez. Obviously, that would have been the perfect combination. But hindsight's a great thing. And my final midfielder went for Semenyo with 2 points because obviously he's banned from Europe, so he
mm,
should be playing 90 minutes in Premier League. And up front, I stuck with Watkins. And I did have Ekatike up until Friday, and I went back to Watkins because I thought his minutes are more secure and I got better fixtures long term. But they both blanked, so it didn't really matter. But I was hoping it was disappointing yesterday.
mm.
I was hoping I made the right call in the would have hauled yesterday, but obviously Pickford had a blinder. And then Thiago got 2 points, and my captain Haaland got 4 points. And on my bench, I had Dubravka 5 points, who I was never considering playing. Chaka got 2 points. Alderete got 1 point. It's crazy when I had the same problem as you. I didn't have the funds for Makaleli, so I had to go to Alderete and got the solar point, and Anson got 2 points. So basically, my wild card, I've gone for all like 90-minute men who are
Mm.
guaranteed to play most of the games, and my plan is Bruno G and Chaka rotate nicely because obviously Newcastle and Sunderland can't play at home at the same week. So if I
Mm.
always play the one with the home fixture, apparently if you do that, if I'd done that all season long, they would have been the highest scoring midfielder in the FPL. They would have got more points than Rice has got this season. So I
Yeah,
tend to play 3-4-3 and obviously just bench the player who's got the away fixture every week. So I
yeah,
got 47 points this week.
yeah. It's certainly a one of those approachable tactics. I was thinking about that's what I've kind of gone in a way for a similar theory approach with having Tiao and Alderete. Would have been better if it was Tiao and Mukiele because then it would have, has exactly more confidence in playing um, whichever was playing at home. Which, if I do go with a four at the back at some point, um, that's what I do. Probably play whichever has the home fixture. But we'll cover that in a moment. We'll just see how those points affected your.
I forgot to say
Uh,
that Van de Ven was a 2 week punt because of their fixtures, but good old Spurs have been Spursy.
yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they lose to Burnley this weekend away.
Well, I have provisionally actually put um, Dubravka in goal as my starting goalkeeper at home to Spurs with Sanchez away at Brentford on the bench, and hope that Thiago playing at home for Brentford, not Thiago.
They've got
Yeah,
Crystal Palace and Chelsea.
Chelsea got Palace.
Yeah, so I'd play
Yeah,
Sanchez because Palace are all over the place at the moment, aren't they? Tired.
mm,
They're not
yeah.
keeping clean
It's
sheets.
that's possibly one of my biggest benching decision headaches this week is which goalkeeper to play. Um, But yeah, anyway, so how did your wild card impact your rank? Not
So
your
I had
rank of performance
eight
this
point
week.
green arrow. So 8 point green arrow. My safety score is 39 points. I got 47 points. And my rank's gone from just under 3 million up to just under 2.7 million. So it was a success, but it could have been much better if I just stuck to my instincts
Mm. And
and
did
not
you
got influenced.
did you say to me in the chat that you worked out how much your pre-wildcard team would have got?
Yeah, I would have got 36 points if I'd stuck with my pre-wild card team. And obviously, my main reason why wild card is because I had no defence. But as it turns out, my defenders I had in last week, if I'd played Van Heck, he got 6 points tonight.
Mm.
And obviously, my keepers, well, I had Lamans and I had him for typical for the three easy fixtures he had. He got like 5 points. Then he plays Man City and keeps clean sheet and gets 6 points.
Well, it's just the same thing about Dorgu. I had Dorgu. I'd brought Dorgu in for the easy fixtures, and gets 1 or 2 points, but has goals disallowed for offside, has shots cleared off the line, or hits the woodwork. So you're thinking he's just on the cusp, and then you wildcard him out because they've got Man City and Arsenal, and then he gets 15 points against City. But then, to be fair, I would have benched him anyway. So I would have had him on the bench, Keenan Dewsbury Hall. I would have had on the bench, and probably, um,
Because as you know, having them.
yes, because Richards was available, and I think I would have played in defence. I would have played. Wait, I said Dewsbury Hall. Um, Mine's gone blank. Oh yeah, Richards plays. I would have played Timber, Gabrielle, um,
Yeah, it's
Richards,
messy about them.
Richards, and yeah, I think Tarkovsky was. If I would have gone a back four, I would have played him, and Dorgu would have been bet. Dorgu was benched anyway. Dewsbury Hall benched anyway. Dubravka benched anyway, and then I think it was who
Yeah,
was my other
Senesi with
for
the
who
all
was
week
my other
20.
forward? Oh yeah, I had Ekatike.
Yeah,
So I think I would have probably played him and gone with a 3-4-3 and benched Tarkovsky. So on the bench, I would have had Dubravka's 5 points, Dorgu's 15, Tarkovsky's 8, and Keenan Dewsbury Hall.
yeah. I mean, there's someone famous who's done that this week
Mm, yeah,
with his 33 points on his bench.
yeah.
Mentioning no
And I think
names.
29 points. So if you haven't seen it, FPL Harry, renowned for his record and content and so on, he had 33 points on his bench, and his actual team got less than just under
He got
30, I
35 in the
think.
end.
Pardon?
He got 35 points in the end. Tavernier got 6 points today.
Oh yeah, did he have a Brighton asset and a Bournemouth asset?
Yeah, he had the keeper and he had just Tavernier who scored.
Oh, Tavernier,
Yeah,
Tavernier. All right, so that was that. That was um this week. Final um final thoughts, really. We've got 4 minutes.
yeah. It was just a mad week, wasn't it? Very low scoring. Now all the popular players all blanked. Now obviously our wild card actually helped us both. Now we've outscored a lot of the players this week, haven't we? We wild cards and got a bit away from the template.
Yeah. So we've
So
just kind of, and I think a lot of people are probably around game week 24 are going to be rushing to get more Chelsea players in. And um, there might be news by then. My mind's gone blank now as to the when we'd find out about the first doubles. I don't
yeah,
think
it's
it's.
between week 24 and 25. I think we find out.
Mm.
We know who's in the final of the
So I
Carabao
think
Cup.
really for those people that wildcarded in 20, 21, 22. and ones that wildcarded and brought in players for the long term. Like I brought in Sanchez and Enzo probably a week, possibly initially thought looking at the fixtures a couple of weeks earlier than should have done, but I thought I'll catch the price rises and there'll be differentials and if they get anything great. And obviously this week they did. So I've got to really hope for the success of the wild card really to continue is that Chelsea get a good result at Fulham in game week 23.
That's Palace, you mean?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, Chelsea are playing Crystal Palace week 23.
Okay, well, yeah. So
It's with
hopefully Chelsea get a good. Oh yeah, because they've just played Fulham, haven't they? No, just played Brentford, and it was Fulham the week before that.
yeah.
Oh,
Then they've got one.
my mind's a blur.
hmm
So
Yeah, they've got
what
a
are
great run
your
of fixtures. West
mm,
Ham at home, Wolves away, Leeds at home, then Burnley after that.
what um what are your first thoughts of doing before for game week 23? Your first initial thoughts?
I'm just going to roll this week and then obviously be thinking about getting onto Chelsea assets or Bournemouth assets week 24.
Mm. Well,
Because
I decided to get them in early, as just said, so I don't have that to think about and want to roll several times. My main debate was I almost went for price change purposes, the what's looking like very popular and most popular transfer combo this week of Phil Foden to Bruno Fernandes. Um, but although Pep's confirmed some broken bone or bones in his hand, they were expecting him to be available tomorrow. So we'll see
oh
what his
wow,
minutes is like in the Champions League if he's in the squad. But I may keep him for the Wolves fixture. Because to be honest, if I swapped him to Fernandes, I'm not going to want a fixture with double Arsenal defence and Fernandes in, and I'd feel inclined to bench him. So I may as well just keep Phil Foden and hope he gets a return against a team that's bottom of the league. Although Wolves proved against us they're a lot more solid. Anyway, final thoughts. We've got about less than a minute now.
yeah, just don't panic, everyone. If you can hold off and that wait till week 24. Now there's fixture swings, and obviously we know about the doubles to try
Yeah.
and roll for week 23. And just
Well,
good thing regard there, week
yeah,
dead.
almost.
Yeah, just forget about this week. That it was
Yeah.
just a low scoring
Great.
week.
Great to see you. Contact details in should be below this screen after editing. And all that's left to say is keep your FPL affairs under wraps until. So all that's left to say is really, and it's been a while, keep your FPL affairs under wraps until we release our next video, which should be our team selections that will come out on Friday morning. Bye bye. Don't forget to like and subscribe.